Welcome to the world of science fiction. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss new stories. Enjoy the listening. The roar of an approaching truck shattered the tranquil silence of Wayne's garden. He looked up from the tomato plant he'd been tending, squinting against the midday sun. His jaw dropped. A blue-skinned goddess stepped out of the vehicle, her curves accentuated by impossibly short denim shorts and a tight white t-shirt. Wayne blinked, certain he was hallucinating. Aliens weren't uncommon these days, but none looked like her. Their eyes met. An electric current seemed to surge through Wayne's body, rooting him to the spot. He tried to look away, but found himself utterly captivated by her otherworldly beauty. The alien smiled and waved. "Hey, neighbor, I'm Saria. Just moved in." Her melodic voice snapped Wayne out of his trance. He realized he was still holding a tomato and hastily set it down. Hi, he managed, his heart pounding. "I'm Wayne. Welcome to the neighborhood." Saria's smile widened, revealing pearly white teeth that contrasted strikingly with her azure skin. "Thanks. Mind lending a hand with my stuff? I promise I don't bite, unless you're into that sort of thing." She winked playfully. Wayne chuckled nervously, painfully aware of how flustered he must look. "Sure, I'd be happy to help." As they unloaded boxes from the truck, Wayne found himself constantly stealing glances at Saria. Her movements were graceful, almost hypnotic. He nearly dropped a box when she bent over to pick something up, giving him an eyeful of her perfectly sculpted backside. "Careful there, Tiger," Saria teased. "These are delicate artifacts from my homeworld. Wouldn't want them getting smashed because you were too busy checking me out." Wayne felt his face burn. I didn't." Saria laughed, a sound like tinkling bells. "Relax, I'm just messing with you. It's cute when you blush. Your whole face turns this adorable shade of pink." Wayne groaned inwardly. He was making a complete fool of himself. "So, where exactly are you from?" he asked, desperate to change the subject. "Oh, a little planet called Zephyria. You've probably never heard of it," Saria replied casually. "It's about 50 light-years from here. Nice place, but the commute was killer." Wayne nearly choked. "You're joking, right?" Saria raised an eyebrow. "About the commute? Nah, that part was true. Stasis pods are not comfortable, let me tell you." "No, 50 light-years? That's incredible." Saria shrugged. "It's not that big a deal. Lots of aliens coming to Earth these days, right? I hear you humans have been making all sorts of interesting contracts with off-worlders." Wayne's smile faded. "Yeah, I've heard about those contracts. Not really my thing, to be honest." "Oh." Saria cocked her head, studying him intently. "And why's that?" Wayne shifted uncomfortably under her gaze. "Just seems risky, you know? All that power, it can change people, not always for the better." Saria nodded slowly. "You're not wrong, but change isn't always bad, Wayne. Sometimes it's exactly what we need." There was something in her voice, a hint of something Wayne couldn't quite place. Before he could ponder it further, Saria clapped her hands together. "Well, that's the last of it. Thanks for your help, neighbor. I owe you one." "Don't mention it," Wayne replied, surprised to find himself disappointed that their time together was ending. "If you need anything else, just let me know." Saria's lips curved into a mischievous smile. "Careful what you offer, Wayne. I might just take you up on that." With a final wink, she sauntered into her new home, leaving Wayne standing in the driveway, his head spinning. Over the next few days, Wayne found himself inventing increasingly flimsy excuses to visit Saria. He offered to mow her lawn, she didn't have one, asked to borrow a cup of sugar, he didn't bake, and even pretended his shower was broken, it wasn't. Each encounter left him more flustered than the last. Saria seemed to delight in finding new ways to tease him. her flirtatious comments growing bolder by the day. "You know, Wayne," she purred one afternoon as he fumbled with a wrench, ostensibly fixing her kitchen sink. "If you wanted to see me so badly, you could have just asked me out." Wayne nearly banged his head on the pipes. "What? No, I mean, that's not—" Saria laughed. "Oh, come on. We both know you're not really here to fix my sink, which, by the way, wasn't actually broken." Wayne emerged from under the sink, his face burning. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to." Saria waved her hand dismissively. "Don't apologize. I think it's sweet and flattering." She leaned in close, her scent enveloping him. "Tell you what, why don't you come over for dinner tonight? We can drop this silly pretense and actually talk." Wayne's heart raced. Every instinct told him to say no, to run away before he got in too deep. But as he looked into Saria's mesmerizing eyes, he found himself nodding. "Great!" Saria beamed. 8 o'clock. Don't be late." As Wayne walked home in a daze, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was stepping into something far beyond his control. The day seemed to crawl by as Wayne anxiously awaited his dinner with Saria. He changed his outfit 3 times, settled on a casual button-down and jeans, then changed again. By the time 8 o'clock rolled around, he was a bundle of nerves. He knocked on Saria's door, a bottle of wine clutched in his sweaty palm. The door swung open and Wayne's breath caught in his throat. Saria stood before him in a slinky black dress that left little to the imagination. Her blue skin seemed to shimmer in the soft lighting. "Right on time," she purred. "I like a punctual man." Wayne swallowed hard. I brought wine," he managed, thrusting the bottle towards her. Saria took it, her fingers brushing against his. Even that slight contact sent shivers down Wayne's spine. "How thoughtful," she said. "Come on in. Dinner's almost ready." Wayne followed her into the house, trying, and failing, not to stare at the way her hips swayed as she walked. The interior was a curious mix of earth decor and alien artifacts. Strange glowing crystals sat alongside potted plants. A painting of what looked like a double-mooned alien landscape hung next to a poster of a human rock band. "Make yourself comfortable," Saria called from the kitchen. "I'll be right out." Wayne sank into a plush armchair, his eyes roaming over the eclectic decor. A strange device on the coffee table caught his attention. It looked like a cross between a lava lamp and a futuristic computer. "Careful with that," Saria warned, emerging from the kitchen with 2 glasses of wine. "It's a quantum entanglement communicator, very delicate, and very illegal on this planet." Wayne jerked his hand back. "Illegal? Should you be telling me that?" Saria shrugged, handing him a glass. "Probably not, but I have a feeling you can keep a secret." She winked. "Besides, what are you going to do? Report me to the alien police?" Wayne chuckled despite himself. "Fair point. So, what's for dinner?" "Nothing too exotic, I promise," Saria replied. "I've been experimenting with Earth cuisine. Tonight we're having lasagna." Wayne raised an eyebrow. "You made lasagna?" "Don't look so surprised," Saria laughed. "I'll have you know I'm an excellent cook. It's all chemistry, really, and I happen to be very good at chemistry." There was a glint in her eye that made Wayne wonder if she was still talking about cooking. As they ate, Wayne found himself relaxing. The lasagna was delicious and conversation flowed easily. Saria regaled him with tales of her homeworld, describing fantastical creatures and breathtaking vistas. "So, what brought you to Earth?" Wayne asked, refilling their wine glasses. Saria's expression grew serious. "Curiosity, mostly, and opportunity. Your world is at a crucial juncture, Wayne. The contracts between humans and aliens, they're changing everything." Wayne frowned. "Not always for the better, from what I've seen." "Perhaps," Saria conceded, "but that depends on the individuals involved. Great power can corrupt, Yes, but it can also elevate. It all comes down to choices. There was a weight to her words that made Wayne uneasy. Is that why you're here? To make contracts? Saria smiled enigmatically. Among other reasons. Tell me, Wayne, have you ever considered it? Making a contract? Wayne shook his head firmly. No, never. It's too risky. Is it? Saria leaned forward, her eyes boring into his. Or are you just afraid of change, of becoming something more than what you are? Wayne shifted uncomfortably. I'm happy with who I am. Are you? Saria's voice was soft, almost hypnotic. Don't you ever wonder what you could achieve with just a little boost? Strength beyond imagining, intelligence to rival the greatest minds in history, charisma that could charm anyone, anywhere. As she spoke, Wayne found himself leaning closer, drawn in by her words and the intoxicating scent that seemed to emanate from her skin. It sounds tempting, he admitted. But at what cost? Saria's smile widened. Everything worthwhile has a price, Wayne. The question is whether you're willing to pay it. She stood suddenly, extending her hand. Come with me. There's something I want to show you. Against his better judgment, Wayne took her hand and followed her to a room he hadn't noticed before. The door slid open silently, revealing a space that looked nothing like the rest of the house. Glowing symbols covered the walls, pulsing with an otherworldly energy. In the center of the room stood a pedestal, upon which rested a shimmering, translucent orb. What is this place? Wayne whispered, awed despite his trepidation. This, Saria said, her voice resonating with power, is where contracts are made. She turned to face him, her eyes glowing with an inner light. You never answered my question earlier, Wayne. Have you ever thought about changing your life? Wayne's heart pounded in his chest. He knew he should leave, should run far away from this alien temptress and her dangerous offer. But as he looked into Saria's mesmerizing eyes, he found himself unable to move. I don't know, he stammered. Saria stepped closer, her body mere inches from his. Don't you want to find out what you're truly capable of, Wayne? Don't you want to be extraordinary? Her scent overwhelmed him, clouding his thoughts. Wayne felt dizzy, intoxicated by her presence and the pulsing energy of the room. He began, but the words died in his throat as Saria leaned in, her lips brushing against his ear. Say yes, Wayne, she whispered. Say yes, and I'll show you wonders beyond your wildest dreams. In that moment, teetering on the precipice of a decision that would change his life forever, Wayne knew he was in way over his head. But as Saria's lips met his in a searing kiss, he found he no longer cared. The contract was sealed, and there was no going back. Wayne's breath came in shallow gasps as Saria's kiss deepened, her lips soft but charged with a power that left him trembling. The room seemed to hum with energy, the glowing symbols on the walls pulsating faster, synchronized with the racing beat of his heart. Every instinct in his body told him to pull away, to resist the pull of this alien force that was drawing him in, but he was no longer in control of his actions. Saria broke the kiss, her gaze piercing into his, eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. Do you feel it, Wayne? She whispered, her voice a sultry caress that sent shivers down his spine. The contract is forming. Our fates are entwined now. Wayne's throat was dry, his words barely a whisper. What does that mean? Saria smiled, stepping closer until their bodies were nearly touching. It means you and I are becoming one, in more ways than you can imagine. To finalize the contract, we must complete the union, body, mind, and soul. He swallowed hard, his heart pounding with a mixture of fear and anticipation. Saria's hand slid over his chest, her touch like fire through his clothes, igniting something primal deep within him. She guided him gently, leading him toward the pedestal where the glowing orb pulsed with energy. It cast strange shadows across her face, making her look even more otherworldly, a goddess from some distant realm. "You must trust me," she whispered as she began to undress, her movements graceful, deliberate. Each article of clothing fell away, revealing the luminous azure skin beneath. Her body was perfection, curves that seemed sculpted by some divine hand, and Wayne found himself unable to look away, completely entranced by her alien beauty. His pulse quickened as Saria took his hand, guiding it to her bare skin. A jolt of energy surged through him at the contact, the contract's power stirring between them, invisible threads binding them together. She began undressing him in turn, her touch gentle but firm, as though this was a ritual, something ancient and sacred. When they were both bare, the room seemed to vibrate with intensity, the symbols on the walls glowing brighter, casting the space in an ethereal light. Saria pressed her body against his, and Wayne felt the raw heat of her skin, the sensation overwhelming. She tilted her head back, her eyes closing in ecstasy as their connection deepened. "This is the moment," she breathed, her voice barely audible, "when two become one." Wayne, lost in the haze of desire and the intoxicating energy of the contract, couldn't speak. He could only feel her body, her essence, merging with his. She pulled him down to the ground where they knelt together before the pulsating orb, the energy between them growing more intense with each passing second. The moment they joined, it was as though the universe itself had shifted. Every nerve in Wayne's body came alive, surging with an energy that was both foreign and familiar. The air around them shimmered with the contract's power, sealing their bond as they moved together, their bodies entwining in a rhythm that felt primal, instinctual. Saria's skin glowed with an ethereal light as she arched against him, her breath coming in shallow gasps, her lips forming his name in a whispered mantra. Wayne, consumed by the intensity of the moment, could feel his consciousness slipping, merging with hers, their minds and bodies becoming one in a way that defied explanation. As the climax approached, the orb above them flared with a brilliant light, the glowing symbols around them spiraling into a pattern that seemed to reflect their union. The energy in the room peaked, filling Wayne with a sensation so powerful he thought he might shatter under its weight. And then, with one final surge of energy, the contract was sealed. The light dimmed, the room returning to its former state, though the air still buzzed with the residual power of their union. Wayne collapsed beside Saria, his body trembling, his mind reeling from the experience. Wayne's eyes snapped open, his mind instantly alert. Sunlight streamed through unfamiliar curtains and he found himself in Saria's bed, the events of the previous night flooding back in a rush of sensation and emotion. He sat up, marveling at the absence of grogginess. His body hummed with energy, every nerve ending alive and tingling. Wayne flexed his fingers, feeling strength coursing through his muscles. "Well, good morning, handsome," Saria's melodic voice purred from the doorway. She leaned against the frame, clad in nothing but one of Wayne's shirts, her blue skin practically glowing in the morning light. Wayne's breath caught in his throat. "Saria, what happened last night?" She sauntered over, perching on the edge of the bed. "You made a choice, Wayne. A rather enthusiastic one, if I recall correctly." Her smile was both playful and predatory. "The contract," Wayne breathed. "It's real? We really sealed it?" Saria finished. "Oh yes, quite thoroughly, I might add." She traced a finger along his jawline, sending shivers down his spine. "How do you feel?" Wayne paused, taking stock of his body and mind. "Amazing," he admitted. "I feel like I could run a marathon, solve complex equations, and charm the pants off anyone, all before breakfast." Saria's laugh tinkled like wind chimes. That's the idea. Strength, intelligence, charisma, they're all yours now. But remember, Wayne, every gift has its price. Her tone grew serious. The power you've been given, it's not just a tool, it's alive, in a way. It will try to shape you, to push you towards certain actions. You must be vigilant. Wayne frowned. What do you mean? Saria sighed. The dark side of these gifts. It's seductive. You might find yourself using your charm to manipulate, your intelligence to belittle others, your strength to dominate. You must constantly choose how to wield your power. I would never, Wayne began, but Saria cut him off with a finger to his lips. Never say never, darling. You'd be surprised what you're capable of now. Her eyes glinted with something Wayne couldn't quite read. Now, how about we test out some of those new abilities? The next few weeks were a whirlwind for Wayne. He threw himself into exploring his newfound powers, marveling at the ease with which he could now accomplish tasks that once seemed impossible. At work, he blazed through projects that had stumped his colleagues for months. His boss, Jennifer, was amazed at his sudden brilliance. "I don't know what's gotten into you lately, Wayne," she said one afternoon, "but keep it up. You're on fire." Wayne grinned, basking in the praise. "Oh, just had a bit of a breakthrough. Sometimes all it takes is a fresh perspective." As he turned to leave, he caught his reflection in the glass door. For a moment, he thought he saw a flicker of something dark in his own eyes. Wayne blinked, and it was gone. Outside the office, Wayne found himself effortlessly charming everyone he met. The barista, who had never given him a second glance, now blushed and stammered when he ordered his coffee. The grumpy old man who lived next door actually smiled and waved when Wayne passed by. One evening, as Wayne regaled Saria with tales of his latest exploits, she watched him with a mixture of pride and concern. "You're adapting well," she observed. "Almost too well." Wayne frowned. "What do you mean?" Saria sighed. "I've seen this before, Wayne. The initial rush, the feeling of invincibility. But remember what I told you about balance. Have you been keeping the darker impulses in check?" Wayne waved dismissively. "Of course. I'm using my abilities to help people, to excel at work. What's wrong with that?" "Nothing, inherently," Saria replied. "But be honest with yourself. Haven't you felt the temptation to push things a little further?" Wayne shifted uncomfortably, recalling how he had persuaded a rival at work to botch an important presentation, ensuring Wayne got the promotion instead. It had been so easy, just a few well-placed words. "I may have used my charm for personal gain once or twice," he admitted reluctantly. Saria nodded, her expression grim. "It starts small. A little manipulation here, a bit of intimidation there, but it can spiral quickly if you're not careful." Wayne felt a flare of irritation. "I can handle it, Saria. I'm not some weak-willed puppet." "I never said you were," she replied calmly. "But the power you wield now, it's more than just ability. It's sentient in a way. It wants to be used, and it doesn't care about morality." Wayne stood abruptly. "I think you're overreacting. I'm fine. Better than fine, actually. I'm finally living up to my potential." As he stormed out, he missed the look of deep concern on Saria's face. Over the next few weeks, Wayne found himself pushing the boundaries of his new abilities more and more. He used his enhanced charisma to talk his way out of a speeding ticket, his intelligence to manipulate the stock market for personal gain, and his strength to intimidate a group of teenagers who had been vandalizing the neighborhood. Each time, he justified his actions to himself. He was just doing what was necessary, wasn't he? The world was a tough place, and now he finally had the tools to come out on top. But with each transgression, Wayne felt something changing within him, a darkness growing, whispering seductive promises of even greater power if he just let go of his outdated moral constraints. One night, as Wayne lay in bed, unable to sleep, he heard a commotion outside. Peering out the window, he saw a group of rough-looking individuals gathered around a sleek black van. Their leader, a tall man with a jagged scar across his face, was giving orders in hushed tones. Wayne's enhanced hearing picked up fragments of their conversation. Alien pheromones, mind control, army of slaves. With a jolt, Wayne realized they were talking about Saria. These must be the dark contractors she had warned him about. For a moment, Wayne considered ignoring the situation. It wasn't his problem, was it? But then he thought of Saria, of the gift she had given him. With a sigh, he got dressed and headed outside to confront the intruders. "Gentlemen," Wayne called out, his voice dripping with false charm. "Bit late for a neighborhood watch meeting, isn't it?" The scarred man turned, his eyes narrowing. "This doesn't concern you, pretty boy. Run along home before you get hurt." Wayne felt a surge of anger at the dismissal. How dare this thug speak to him that way? Didn't he know who he was dealing with? "Oh, I think it does concern me," Wayne replied, his voice taking on a dangerous edge, "especially when you're planning to harm my friend." The leader's eyes widened in recognition. "You're the one she contracted with. Well, well, this complicates things." He gestured to his men, who began to spread out, surrounding Wayne. "Last chance to walk away, boy. You may have some fancy new tricks, but you're outnumbered and outgunned." Wayne felt the darkness within him surge, begging to be unleashed. Part of him knew he should try to de-escalate, to find a peaceful solution, but a larger part wanted to show these thugs exactly what he was capable of. With a feral grin, Wayne cracked his knuckles. "Bring it on." The fight was brutal and swift. Wayne moved with inhuman speed and strength, dodging blows and delivering devastating counterattacks. He used his enhanced intellect to anticipate his opponent's moves, always staying one step ahead. But as the battle raged on, Wayne felt himself slipping further into darkness. He reveled in the violence, in the fear he saw in his enemy's eyes. When the last thug fell, Wayne turned to the leader, who was now backing away in terror. "Please," the man begged. "We'll leave. We won't come back. Just let me go." Wayne advanced slowly, savoring the man's fear. "Oh, I don't think so. You see, I can't have you running off to warn your friends about me. No, I think it's time for a more permanent solution." As Wayne raised his fist for a killing blow, a familiar voice cut through the night. "Wayne, stop!" He turned to see Saria standing there, her eyes wide with horror. "This isn't you, Wayne. Don't let the darkness win." For a moment, Wayne wavered, but then the scarred man made a break for it, and something snapped within him. With lightning speed, he caught the fleeing thug and lifted him by the throat. "Wayne, please," Saria pleaded. "If you do this, there's no coming back. You'll be lost to the darkness forever." Wayne hesitated, his grip loosening slightly. The man in his grasp gasped for air, clawing weakly at Wayne's hand. "He deserves it," Wayne growled. "They all do. They were going to hurt you, to use you." Saria stepped closer, her voice gentle. "And you stopped them. You protected me. But this isn't protection, Wayne. This is vengeance. Is that really who you want to be?" Wayne looked at the terrified man in his grasp, then back at Saria. He saw the fear in her eyes, not fear of the thugs, but fear of what he was becoming. With a roar of frustration, Wayne hurled the man to the ground. "Get out of here," he snarled. "If I ever see you or your friends again, I won't be so merciful." The scarred man scrambled to his feet and ran, not even bothering to check on his fallen comrades. As the adrenaline faded, Wayne felt the weight of what he'd almost done crash down upon him. He sank to his knees, trembling. Saria knelt beside him, placing a comforting hand on his shoulder. "It's okay, Wayne. You made the right choice in the end." Wayne looked up at her, his eyes haunted. "But I wanted to do it, Saria. I wanted to kill him, to kill all of them. What's happening to me?" Saria's expression was grave. "The power is changing you, just as I warned it would. But you're stronger than it is, Wayne. You proved that tonight." "How do I stop it?" Wayne asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "How do I keep from losing myself?" Saria helped him to his feet. "It won't be easy. The temptation will always be there. But now that you've seen the precipice, you can learn to step back from it." As they walked back towards their homes, Wayne felt a mix of shame and determination. He had come so close to crossing a line he could never uncross, but he had also proven, if only barely, that he could resist the darkness within him. "What now?" he asked Saria. She squeezed his hand reassuringly. "Now, we train. I'll teach you how to control your powers, how to use them without letting them use you. It won't be easy, but I believe in you, Wayne." As they reached Saria's door, Wayne paused. "Thank you," he said softly, "for stopping me, for believing in me." Saria smiled, though there was sadness in her eyes. "Just remember, Wayne, the real test is yet to come. Those men will be back, with reinforcements, and next time, you'll have to make your choice all over again." Wayne nodded grimly. He knew she was right. The battle for his soul was far from over, but for now he had won a crucial victory. And with Saria by his side, he felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As he walked home, Wayne looked up at the star-filled sky, wondering what other secrets and dangers the universe held. Whatever came next, he knew his life would never be the same. The question was, would he be able to hold on to his humanity in the face of such incredible power? Only time would tell. Wayne's muscles tensed as he scanned the horizon, his enhanced vision picking up the telltale dust cloud of approaching vehicles. The dark contractors were back, just as Saria had predicted. His heart raced, but not with fear, with determination. "They're coming," he said, turning to Saria. She stood beside him on the hilltop, her blue skin shimmering in the late afternoon sun. "How many?" she asked, her melodic voice tinged with concern. Wayne focused, pushing his newfound abilities to their limit. "At least 30, heavy weapons. They're not taking any chances this time." Saria nodded grimly. "Then neither can we. Are you ready?" Wayne took a deep breath, centering himself. The past few weeks of training with Saria had taught him more than just control over his powers. He'd learned about himself, about the delicate balance between strength and compassion. "As ready as I'll ever be," he replied, flashing her a cocky grin. "Let's show these thugs what a real power couple can do." Saria laughed, a sound that still sent shivers down Wayne's spine. "Just remember the plan." "And Wayne?" Her expression grew serious. "Don't lose yourself out there." He nodded, understanding the weight of her words. The dark impulses were still there, lurking beneath the surface, but now he knew how to channel them, to use them without being consumed. As they made their way down the hill towards the town, Wayne reflected on how much had changed. His relationship with Saria had deepened, evolving from mere physical attraction to something profound. Their nights together weren't just passionate. They were a merging of minds and souls, each encounter leaving him more in awe of her. But there was no time for sentimentality now. They had a battle to win. The town square was a flurry of activity as they arrived. Thanks to Wayne's charisma and Saria's guidance, they'd managed to rally a significant portion of the community to their cause. Barricades were being erected, weapons distributed, and strategies finalized. "Mr. Greenberg," Wayne called out to the town's mayor, a portly man who'd initially been skeptical of their warnings. Are the evacuation routes clear? The mayor nodded, wiping sweat from his brow. Yes, but Wayne, are you sure this is necessary? Maybe we should just let the authorities handle. There's no time, Wayne interrupted, his voice resonating with an authority that brooked no argument. Trust me, sir. These aren't ordinary criminals. We need to be prepared for anything. As if on cue, the roar of engines filled the air. The dark contractors had arrived. Everyone to your positions, Wayne shouted, his enhanced voice carrying across the square. He turned to Saria, their eyes meeting in a moment of silent communication. With a nod, they split up, each heading to their designated area. The battle erupted in a cacophony of gunfire and screams. Wayne moved with superhuman speed and agility, disarming attackers and protecting civilians. His enhanced intellect allowed him to anticipate enemy movements, always staying one step ahead. But as the fight wore on, Wayne felt the familiar pull of darkness, the thrill of combat, the rush of power. It was intoxicating. He found himself using more force than necessary, reveling in the fear he saw in his opponent's eyes. Wayne! Saria's voice cut through the chaos. He turned to see her locked in combat with 3 attackers, her movements graceful but increasingly desperate. In that moment, Wayne faced a choice. He could give in to the darkness, unleash his full power, and end this fight in seconds. But at what cost to his humanity? Drawing on everything Saria had taught him, Wayne took a deep breath. He focused not on the raw power coursing through him, but on the reason he was fighting: to protect, to preserve, to love. With renewed purpose, Wayne leapt into action. He moved with precision and control, neutralizing threats without unnecessary brutality. His actions inspired those around him, turning the tide of battle. As the last of the dark contractors fell or fled, Wayne found himself face to face with their leader, the same scarred man he'd nearly killed weeks ago. "You should have finished me when you had the chance," the man snarled, raising a strange, alien weapon. Wayne stood his ground, feeling Saria's presence behind him. "That's the difference between us," he replied calmly. "I choose mercy, every time." The leader fired, but Wayne was ready. With lightning reflexes, he deflected the energy blast, sending it harmlessly into the sky. In the next instant, he closed the distance between them, disarming the man with a precise strike. As Wayne stood over his defeated foe, he felt the familiar urge to end it permanently. But this time, the dark impulse was a mere whisper, easily ignored. "It's over," Wayne said, his voice firm but not unkind. "You've lost, but you don't have to stay lost. There's always a choice." The scarred man looked up, confusion and fear warring in his eyes. Why don't you just kill me?" Wayne smiled, extending a hand. "Because that's not who I am, not anymore." As the authorities arrived to take the dark contractors into custody, Wayne turned to find Saria watching him with pride and something else, a deep, abiding love that took his breath away. "You did it," she said softly, approaching him. "You found the balance." Wayne pulled her close, inhaling her intoxicating scent. "We did it," he corrected. "I couldn't have done any of this without you, Saria." Their lips met in a kiss that seemed to make the world fade away. When they finally parted, both were breathless. "So," Wayne grinned, "what's next for the galaxy's most impressive power couple?" Saria laughed, her eyes twinkling with mischief. "Oh, I have a few ideas, but first, I think we've earned a little celebration, don't you?" As they made their way home, hand in hand, Wayne marveled at how much his life had changed. He'd gone from a simple gardener to a superpowered protector, found love with an alien goddess, and learned profound truths about himself and the universe. But the greatest discovery, he realized, was that true strength came not from raw power, but from the choices we make, and the connections we forge. 20 years later, Wayne stood on the porch of their sprawling farmhouse, watching the sun set over the endless green fields. The sound of laughter drew his attention, and he smiled as he saw Saria chasing their youngest children, twins with her blue skin and his green eyes, across the yard. Their family had grown over the years, a beautiful blend of human and alien that never ceased to amaze him. 8 children, each unique and incredible in their own way. It hadn't always been easy, balancing their responsibilities as parents with their role as guardians and mentors to others with extraordinary abilities. But they'd found a way, just as they always did. "Penny for your thoughts, handsome?" Saria's voice pulled him from his reverie. She joined him on the porch, slipping an arm around his waist. "Just thinking about how lucky we are," Wayne replied, pulling her close. "Did you ever imagine, back when you first moved in next door, that we'd end up here?" Saria laughed, the sound still as musical as ever. "Honestly, I had a feeling you'd be trouble from the moment I saw you fumbling with that tomato plant." Wayne chuckled, remembering that first meeting. "Trouble, huh? I prefer to think of myself as charmingly disruptive." "Oh, is that what we're calling it now?" Saria teased, her eyes sparkling with amusement. As they watched their children play, Wayne's expression grew more contemplative. "Do you ever worry about them? About the world they're growing up in?" Saria considered for a moment before answering. "Sometimes. The line between using power responsibly and abusing it is always thin. But then I look at them, at us, and I have hope. We've shown that it's possible to wield incredible abilities without losing our humanity. More than that, we've proven that our humanity is what gives those abilities true meaning." Wayne nodded, squeezing her hand. "It's a lesson we keep learning, isn't it? Every day is a choice." "Indeed," Saria agreed. "But it's a choice we make together, and that makes all the difference." As the last rays of sunlight painted the sky in brilliant hues, Wayne reflected on the journey that had brought them to this point. The challenges they'd faced, the battles fought both external and internal, had all led to this moment of peace and purpose. He thought about the countless individuals they'd helped over the years, humans and aliens alike who struggled with the weight of their own power. Wayne and Saria had become living proof that it was possible to find balance, to use extraordinary abilities for the greater good without succumbing to darkness. Their home had become a beacon of hope, a place where those with powers could come to learn control and find community. It wasn't always easy, and there were still times when Wayne felt the pull of his darker impulses. But with Saria by his side and their children as a constant reminder of what truly mattered, he found the strength to make the right choice, time and time again. As night fell and they herded their brood inside for dinner, Wayne paused for one last look at the star-filled sky. Somewhere out there, he knew, other worlds faced similar struggles. The temptation of power, the delicate balance between progress and preservation, the eternal dance between light and dark, these were universal constants. But so too was love, he realized. Love that transcended species and space, that gave meaning to their extraordinary lives and grounded them in what truly mattered. Wayne smiled, feeling a profound sense of peace wash over him. Whatever challenges tomorrow might bring, he knew they would face them together, as a family, as partners, as the perfectly imperfect blend of human and alien that they were. With one last glance at the heavens, Wayne stepped inside, closing the door on another day in their remarkable life. The journey wasn't over. It never really would be. But that, he realized, was the greatest adventure of all. Dear listeners, well, you've made it to the end of our cosmic love story. Congratulations on surviving the onslaught of alien pheromones, superpowers, and philosophical musings. I hope you're not too blue in the face from holding your breath during those intense fight scenes. See what I did there? Blue, Saria, no, tough crowd. In all seriousness, thank you for joining Wayne and Saria on their interstellar journey of love, self-discovery, and the eternal struggle of not being a jerk when you suddenly get cool powers. If you've learned anything from this tale, I hope it's that true strength comes from within, and also from having an incredibly attractive alien partner who believes in you. Hey, we all need a little help sometimes. As you go forth into the world, remember, life might not grant you superhuman abilities or a smoking hot extraterrestrial neighbor, but every day presents opportunities to choose kindness, to resist your darker impulses, and to make a positive impact on those around you. And if you do happen to stumble upon some magical alien contract, maybe consult a lawyer first. Just saying. May your own adventures be filled with growth, laughter, and far fewer life-threatening battles than our heroes had to endure. And if you ever feel overwhelmed by the challenges life throws your way, just ask yourself, what would Wayne do? Then maybe do the opposite, at least for the first half of the story. Wishing you all the best in your quest for balance, love, and the perfect comeback line in the face of intergalactic peril. Stay curious, stay kind, and always keep one eye on the stars. You never know who might be moving in next door. With gratitude and a slight case of alien-induced humor, your friendly neighborhood author P.S. If you start emitting any strange pheromones after listening this, please consult your doctor or your local intergalactic embassy, whichever is closer.